Hi, guys. I'm just getting set up here. Sarah will be with us shortly. There we go. All right.
I found a fun one.
Okay.
Legends of the National Parks.
There you go.
It was a fine in the states because I can't. All right, got something fun. Where's my phone? It was making
It's
noise.
right behind you.
Okay. And it should be. Oh no.
The Joker.
Yeah, we don't need that on. I need to put my glasses on. There we go. I'm just gonna let Morgan know.
You can copy the invite.
Oh yeah. Let's do it to both. I don't know if I probably won't show up because where Morgan? The heck?
Yes, Morgan, we hope you get better.
Okay, there we go. I've shared that. Okay. So yeah.
Today is really a random ideas day where we pick
Yeah,
something out of our hat
I've
and
been doing a lot of work for the Patreon, and with school, I just don't have the time to really deep dive for the live stream. So if you want really good research stuff, you're gonna have to join the Patreon. Um, next month is super busy, so we're not gonna hold anything other than doing a Zoom ritual that will be open to everyone. But if you miss
Bigfoot
it,
summoning.
it'll only be saved for Patreon members. So make sure you save that. There we go. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, it's been busy this month. I did a rough talk on A River is Alive by Robert McFarlane, and it was very rough. I basically just got my notes in order. And we just talked about like spirit of place and why, like, if you're really into Bigfoot, if you're really into UFO, if you're really into magic, well, you can't ignore the environment. You can't ignore people suffering. Like, I always use the easiest way to use it is um how can you be into Bigfoot while the forest is on fire because of climate change? Especially if you're flesh and blood Bigfooter. Oh, I believe in flesh and blood Bigfoot, but I'm not going to do anything for climate change. What do you think is going to happen when all the forests in the PWN burn down because we don't have enough firefighters to burn that fuel, and so it just explodes. So that's what we talked about. We did a watch party. We just watched about um, goat shows. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Um, yeah.
We've been working on quite a lot. I'll
Still
read.
reading City in Color, which is the multicultural history of Victoria. And I love how Hawaiians basically built the West. They were the ones who built the foundation of the West. There's no fort from uh I apologize, forget the name, the fort that became Fort Astoria or that became Astoria, Oregon. Basically from there to Vancouver and Victoria, it was all built by Hawaiians. Like there is some other like Chinese, Japanese and whatnot, but it was mostly Hawaiian. So that's really interesting. And a lot of the Hawaiians at different parts in history just went into the indigenous tribes. So there's a lot of Hawaiians that are intermixed in the indigenous tribes here, and I love that. That's amazing and great. So I'm like, oh, I have to do a cross stitch now of like Vancouver Island with nothing but Hawaiian flowers. So that's really fun. I'm just finishing up the Hawaiian history. I'm not sure what the next part is. Um, and I'm reading DMT and the Spirit Molecule. Um, Spoiler alert if you're a hippie, psychonaut who loves psychedelics, it's not really blow your mind psychedelic. It's written by a guy who studied the brain and for many, many years, and he was given the first permit since DMT was made illegal. Um, and It's mostly scientific, but it's also very easy to read. I'm finding it fascinating because I'm learning things about the brain. Um, yeah.
We'll talk about what we're doing in wave projects at the end.
Uh, yeah, we can
However-
talk
however-
about it now. It's just
Okay.
we're chill. There's no
No set schedule to this. I am working on several TV shows. They're just in the planning stage right now. I can't even give you a set
was
name.
me. That was me.
That was
Just
for one, and the other one is named The Crypt of the Watcher, and it's going to be in the vein of high strangeness in Canada and information analysis. So it's going to be a little bit heady, but it's going to be kind of like X-Files meets Are You Afraid of the Dark? And what are you on to?
Oh, I'm looking one. I want to cheer our friend Morgan up. He's just life is happening. So I'm looking for one specifically for Morgan
Okay.
to cheer him up. So there's Death Valley.
We have started our season. Season 5?
We don't do seasons anymore.
We don't do seasons anymore. Really, we just post as we have it. But we are dropping the first part of an interview with Soraya of where did the road go?
I love this book. So we're gonna talk about this book. Okay. You can get this book easily if you live in the US. It's really cheap. I couldn't. And when we were down in the States, or it was at one of possibly our thrift stores, I saw it and I was like, oh yeah, no, there's no tag on this. I bought this when I was in the States and I was like, I need this because it's put out by National Parks. So unfortunately, nobody's shipping it, but this book is a beautiful book, and then they have like these beautiful artworks. And if they did sell these right here, they did sell them at one time, but I don't know if they're still for sale. Yeah, sorry, I interrupted you.
It's all right. So I have an interview with Soraya coming up. It is open to the public June 1st at 12 a.m. And we get into some pretty interesting subjects. We kind of run the gambit, and you kind of get a little bit of a prelude to stuff that's going to be in Soraya's book, which comes out at some point later this
Oh,
year, I
here we
think.
go. I'll just put, if you love the artwork here, this is where you can get it. So there you go. Okay. I've got 2. I'm going to do 2 because I miss Morgan and I want him to be happy. So this is to cheer him up.
Okay.
So, Giant Mummy Death Valley National Park. Here you go. First encounter, first reported by Dr. F. Bruce Russell and Dr. Daniel S. Bovey in 1931. Physical traits: 8 to 10 feet tall with dusty, decaying flesh wrapped in strips of cloth. Special powers: able to cause terror by lurching and grabbing anything within reach. I love this book. This book is a lot of fun. Cryptid classification: Magnus Mummia, terrestrial undead. Death Valley National Park is already one of the most unique and dramatic landscapes in the world. So, should it be all that surprising that the region may have once been home to giants? If the tales of archaeological explorers Dr. F. Bruce Russell and Dr. Daniel S. Bovey have any truth to them, then this region was once indeed inhabited by prehistoric Americans who stood 8 to 9 feet tall. The Death Valley mummy story rose from 2 early 20th century archaeologists and miners who were exploring Death Valley in 1931. They fell through loose soil while sinking a mining shaft and landed, somewhat bruised, in an abandoned cave system. But as the previously undiscovered caves were not already an exciting enough find, the caves contained the mummified remains of 3 giant men, looming ancients who stood 2 to 3 feet taller than the average man. Doctors Russell and Bovey left the caves and returned with a team of explorers, diggers, and prospectors. However, the ever shifting sands of Death Valley had already hidden the cave entrance, and the explorers never again found the caves they said contained the mummified giants. So it's in Southern California, Habitat Desert, Activity Night, signs, rag scraps. Origin of legend: supposedly 2 men stumbled across the mummified corpse during the 1930s while exploring an old mine. Possible explanation: experts believe Russell and Bowie made the mummy story up as the 2 explorers never preserved any proof of their finding. So what I have to say about that is they may have actually found a mummy. Some South American cultures mummified their dead, and it's very believable that they came up. I don't know how the indigenous in this Southern California interned their dead, so I can't speak to that. But we didn't always protect archaeological remains, and so rich people used to buy mummies all the time, and they used to eat them and stuff like that. So there has been in history a lot of just random mummies floating around. So I always find it funny.
Can you imagine eating a mummy?
Yeah, that's gross.
Why?
I just
It's
imagine always like
cannibalism.
the lost home of such and such, and all I think is, what if that old Victorian couple in London ate that lost pharaoh we can't find? Like, so that's an actual thing they did. There, so they could have very well found a mummy. 8 to 9 feet tall. Unfortunately, the story of giants in the States comes with a lot of um
Problematic.
emotional baggage.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about these doctors, so I'm not going to at all lump them in with those people. But also, the Giants legend has been so intermixed into American and Canadian history that a lot of people just don't know the problematic origins. So I have people who I love and trust and believe who've talked about the giants in North America, and they just don't know. And it's not that they're anything bad. It's misinformation can get so intermixed that, especially when it comes to ancient artifacts and history, Excuse me. Um, so one things that came across reading Weird Egypt by Jim Jung and Study the Burial Mountains is there were so many hoaxes and fake artifacts that we will never be 100% sure what is real and what isn't. Like the copper breastplate is gone. Well, they did used to hammer copper, so it could be real. However, they also a lot of these and I'm not saying these doctors, but other before you had to go to university. So academia started with bored rich people. And so like the very first like archaeologists and anthropologists were just rich people. Um so and there wasn't the ethics were screwed up because it was colonialism. Um so a lot of the artifacts they would kind of like make them age, or someone would tell them a story and they'd be like, yeah, yeah. So with burial mounds it's really hard. I think that's a fun cryptid. I think that's really fun to think that there's an ancient mummy in Death Valley. Um, there is a crazy part. Go ahead and talk. I'm gonna look
Okay.
at there's this is making me think of a talk, and I definitely one of these times I want to sit down and talk to Morgan about this because he's lived in California I think his whole life. I think he said that. Um when I was doing Arizona, I was like, "Oh, we'll just do a fun ghost Arizona thing with Adam." And then I was like, "There's something wrong. All of these ghost stories have no connections to the past. There's like no uh like when you look up Arizona ghost stories and then you try to not fact check them, but kind of source them. A lot of the blogs don't have sources." And I was like, "What is going on?" And so a lot of the so-called Arizona ghost stories are like modern stories. There's a
Modern
couple
legends.
stories like the I forget his name, but the red skeleton camel and stuff like that comes from the mining days. But I was like, why isn't there like uh there's usually when there's folklore you have like there's indigenous folklore, there's immigrant folklore, there's you know um different cultures. There was nothing, and I found it like it was so bizarre. Like Arizona has been like sanitized of its original culture. Like I had to go in and specifically study indigenous people of Arizona to find like
Stories. Yeah.
yeah. So and I found this giant book that's like about the Chicano culture in America. So, but anyways, all of that to say, I found there's one national park that you have like a 99% chance you can't get a pass to, and I'll talk about it. I'm going to look it up. So
Okay.
go ahead.
Okay. So the projects that I'm working on called The Crypt of the Watcher. I have the storyboards for that set up. When I'm done, that will be posted to Patreon if you want to see it. If you want to get early access, if you want to contribute, you can do that as well. Basically, what we get from Patreon goes to creating new content. So help us out. I know it's hard right now, and many of you can't commit to a large amount, which is why we keep it to $5.
Yeah, also like we barely know what we're doing, and also I have to take breaks from school because like with library science, I don't have a lot of tests, but I have a lot of work. It is a
It's
lot
a
like
lot of
right
reading.
now. So with this class, I'm taking computer science and business information and library workplaces, which is basically I'm learning how to be a good manager and a good team member. I'm learning the important task of prioritizing because I'm like, I can't keep up because the computer science and business information is just a lot of tasks. There's like these training modules that are like 46 tasks of like how to use Microsoft Suite and then all my business information. So I'm learning, okay, what is due? I need this, this, and this done for this due date. Prioritize that. Then take all the other stuff I'm supposed to reading, set this over here, get this done, go back, read. Okay, next week. Okay, this is due. Put this down here. Read. Like I'm learning how to prioritize. Like, okay, I need to read this to learn, but it's not for a project that's due. Okay, get the thing that's done for a project due. Like
Yep.
I'm learning how to chaos manage. Like today I was having a meltdown and AG's like, "Well, what's actually due?" And then I thought about it and I was like, "Oh." And so like I've downloaded all my readings, put them in a folder, then numbered them 1, 2, 3, 4. And so I'll do my thing that's due with for points. And then as I need a break from that or as I finish it, I'll go 1, 2, 3, read that. So this is why, like, we can't charge you more because I'm like, AJ, I need a break. We can't do anything this month. So, like, June, I said, no live streams, no watch parties. We're gonna, like, I just can't because I have a final project. I have registration, which is gonna be a nightmare. I have another final project. We're going away. So, yeah. Go ahead. I'm gonna go back.
Okay. Back to what I was saying. The show is a mix of high strangeness events based on a framework of this one character who is kind of the star of the show, Alex. And then he has supporting characters in the first season. The second season I can't tell you anything about because it'll give away too much from the first season, that it would be kind of like a spoiler thing and ruin it for you. But if you want to help with stories, please send us your stories. Send a comment for this video, this live, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
Found what you were looking for?
Yeah, but they're focusing on California, but Arizona, but it goes so it's okay, so it's called El Camino del Diablo. It's a 250 mile, 400-kilometer road that passes through Yuma, Arizona, and it ends where? Freaking stupid thing. To reach the Spanish colonies of California. Well, what? There's Wikipedia is terrible. Okay, so it ends in California, anyways, or not ends in California. It goes to Arizona.
Hi.
It goes to Arizona, California, and then down into Mexico. And the Mexico route is, I believe, paved now. And it's this 250 kilometers, just sheer desert. There's nothing. It's barren. It is the southwestern desert. And like it's an ancient indigenous trail, and then colonizers used it until the railway came in, and then that they stopped using that road for the most part. I wonder if I have, let me pull up docs. I wonder if I took notes. Let's see. It'd be in something called Arizona, I believe. Weird Arizona. Okay. Let's see. So,
When Sarah says notes, it's a book of notes usually.
Oh, here we go. I have notes. I took really good notes on here. So El Camino del Diablo. So Spanish for the Devil's Path. 250-mile road that passes through Sonoran Desert in Pima and Yuma County, Arizona, and then ends in Mexico, but it also goes through California. A traditional pathway used by indigenous peoples, it was later used by Europeans until the Southern Pacific Railroad reached Yuma in 1877. Another source, 1880s railroad reached southern Arizona. So I got varying information. Travelers heading to California began to use it more after the Donner Party disaster in 1846, thinking it would be safer because there was no snow. They called it the Journey of Death, and that is from Charles Spratley, The Paranormal Library. In 1978, it was listed on the National List of Historic Places and considered an official back road by the BLM. I think that's the land management.
Yes.
In Mexico, the route has not been maintained, but instead a paved road that runs parallel to the original route was built. Many travelers died from the harsh conditions of the road. Many gravestones and animal bones could be seen along the trail. An estimation of 2,000 people have perished. That's from Atlas Obscura. The hardest part of the trail is from Sonoita, Mexico to Yuma, Arizona. Most graves were in this stretch. There are estimated 65 graves near Tinajas Atlas that are known. And this is an area with unique geology. It creates nine cup-like pools that drain into one another. It can hold up to 20,000 gallons of water, and dead bodies have been found when one or more pools are dry. It intersects with Christmas Pass Road. If you wish to transit the road, you must have a four-wheel drive and get a permit from the Wildlife Refuge in Ajo. And then there's only one spooky tale from El Camino del Diablo. At Tinajas Atlas, 1891 to 1896, the U.S. Boundary Survey Party found 3 dead men near an empty pool. Their fingers raw from trying to climb the second pool that held water. They were yards from reaching it. So it is this crazy, like, sad, tragic road, and there's not a single freaking ghost story or legend or anything. And that's what I was finding in Arizona. Like, everything I found was about the stupid Wild Wild West. There was nothing else. And I'm like, people have been in Arizona for thousands of years. And so what I think has happened is that it's been sanitized by colonialism. Or like there was a lot of the hate between Mexicans and quote unquote Americans. Um, so I think just like the conflict and the anger, just like Arizona's just like separated. Um, I was able to find some good like spooky stuff. So um, what I ended up doing is I went and found every proper name of every indigenous tribe, started a thing where I wrote down every single one so that I can go individually learning about the indigenous people, which is another fascinating thing because they are so the indigenous people of Arizona all speak an Athabascan language, which originates from Western Canada, Western and Northern Canada. And one of the indigenous people have a legend about going. I think the translation was like going through a back door, and there was something about snow or snow blocked the path.
Mm.
Um, Unfortunately, that's how they all got put under the term Apache. As usual, colonialism, we're gonna do a little bit of effort to categorize anyone. He's like, "Oh, you all speak the similar language. You're all Apache," which is not that is not how the indigenous people their structure is. They're mostly matrilineal, and Arizona cannot support big cities. Like the big cities you see are just like sucking everything around them to survive. So the indigenous formed different groups, and over time became like, I think there's one called the River People, and they have slightly different names, and they each found a different way to survive. There's one group of indigenous people who was so good at irrigation farming that when they put them on the res, they thought this land was crap. They used their irrigation farming and they, managed to find a way to live. And they're like, oh, wait, this land must be valuable. So they kicked them off that land because, like, oh, clearly we gave them land too valuable and put them on another land. So dumb. But what would happen is they would meet up in groups for like trading, celebrations, whatnot, and that is when the couples would meet and get to know each other, and then when they decided we would like to be together, the man went with the woman's family, and off they went in these small groups. So they all share similarities, but they all are their own unique thing. Um, um, and we don't call them Apache. That's like, I know there's the Apache Nation, but I've heard use Dene, but I don't know if that's for all indigenous. So just call them indigenous. And then you can uh find their tribe names if you want. But all that to say, so El Camino del Diablo. I'd love to ask Morgan about this. Like it is so in order for you to get a permit, you have to meet with the appropriate agent and they have to inspect how much water you have. What kind of vehicle do you have? What do you have for emergency this? What do you have this? Because if you go out into El Camino del Diablo, there's no cell service. And if you run into trouble, you could be waiting hours or days for help. So it's not like another national park. You just show up, you get your permit, you go. Like you have to prove that you can survive the trip. And so there are people who do go, but I mean, you have to carry
You have to
gallons
be
again.
prepared.
Yeah. And like we watched one video. They were fine. They focused mostly on their, like, truck and their fancy equipment, and I was like, "Can you show we wanna watch this because we wanna see the part. You have a nice truck," um, but they would have to, um, release the pressure in their tires at certain points, and
Mhm.
so, like, yeah. So, like, for me, it's like, why is there we always talk about this haunted place that had all and they're like, El Camino, there's nothing. Maybe it's like the desert is so desolate that it can't even be haunted.
Well,
Too bone dry and desolate to be haunted.
the thing there
Where's
is
your cookies?
right behind you.
Oh, cookies. We made homemade animal cookies.
They're not animal shaped, but
No. Mm. I just imagine because my notes don't do it justice. Like a lot of people travel that road before the railway went in. And so there has to be something. Like nobody saw nothing, nobody heard nothing.
locals might
There are no locals.
have stories.
There are no locals. It's in the middle of nowhere now. But I just always found it weird. Like I hear all kinds of crazy stories about like the Snoqualmie Mountains, about Olympic Peninsula. Um, what's the one I love? The Mojave. So many stories. So many stories. El Camino del Diablo, nothing. So weird. I mean, it's 250 miles. Nobody's seen or heard anything. So I haven't done a deep dive into Reddit or anything like that, but I just one day I'll have to go to Southern California so I can take Morgan to a really fancy restaurant with his wife and just be like, okay, tell me stories. Like um all right. Here's the other one for Morgan. This one's a fun one. The Yucca Man. So in this Joshua Tree National Park, I just need to full disclosure. Okay, I love Southern California. I didn't realize how much I loved it, and I'm so embarrassed. Please don't be angry, Morgan. But I didn't realize like Yosemite, Joshua Tree, and Mojave, uh, like that's all in California.
Yeah.
For some reason, I thought like, well, Joshua Tree's in Nevada, and this I didn't know. And so the fact that all these places, like, and the Sierra Mountains is in California, like Southern California is a weird and wonderful little place. But what I want to say, when you go to Joshua Tree, you really need to do your research. People are still running into trouble. It's the desert. It's rugged. There's no cell service. You need to have water. There isn't as many gas stations. There isn't as many hotels anymore. Like I keep hearing stories like about, well, this person got lost. This person did, like, we look at the national parks and we think, "Oh, it's beautiful and there's ranger stations and stuff like that." There are parts of the US and Canada too that are really vast, and we're really like, a lot of us, even those who don't live in the city, if you live out in the country, you still have access to like internet and stuff, and you don't realize how like very rugged it is. So you absolutely should go to Joshua Tree. It's one of the most amazing places, and it's like on the top of my list. Like, because of Trump, um, it's way more expensive. It's gonna cost us like $500 now for a pass. I'm hoping that's for a year pass, if we were to go, because that's a lot. Because I'm not a resident anymore. I'm a Canadian citizen and I'm an American citizen, but I've lived in Canada since 2007. So I'm not a resident of the US anymore. And the way, I don't know if this is new or if this is a Trump thing, I have to buy an international pass because I'm not a resident of the United States anymore. I'm not. I'm a citizen, but I don't live there. Like, how do I prove I'm from the US? I guess if I give 'em my passport, maybe I could get through.
Yeah.
Also, like, I feel like the national park rangers are really frustrated and tired, and they're not gonna, like, they'll be like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Just, um so, yeah. So you should definitely visit Joshua Tree. Do not go off-roading if you're not familiar with it, you will blow your tires out. There are lots of people who you can pay to be a guide, who have the vehicles, who have the know-how, who will take you out on a trip. Also leave people alone, like, especially in the Mojave. The people are very nice. They're very pleasant, but they wanna be left alone, so, like, don't trespass, just, like, "Hi, how are you doing?" Don't leave trash. I was listening to, a podcast I love, Desert Oracle, and the way Spotify is, it's so frustrating to listen to new, episodes, because then I'll go to a different podcast, so when I wanna binge, I have to go down and up, so I just go from oldest to newest. So this was a long time ago, but he was walking his dog and some jerks left weed on the side of the road and his dog got sick. His dog was fine, but it's like, don't leave trash, please. So just full disclosure. Okay, we'll talk about the Yucca Man, but please, if you're going to Joshua Tree, it's not a simple trip to the park. All right. So first encounter, the Tongva tribe has told stories of the creature for hundreds of years. Physical traits: very tall and foul smelling, covered in long, stringy, unkempt hair. Special powers. I love this book. Super strength, able to bend a gun barrel in half, incredibly elusive. Also, I don't want to be in that situation where he's doing that. Cryptid classification: Pilosus gigas, terrestrial humanoid. an unbearable stench exuding from its hairy body, standing 8 feet tall, red-eyed, growling, prowling, and circling campers and hikers. This is Yucca Man, Joshua Tree National Park's resident monster. Reports of the Yucca Man at first came out of military bases from the southwest, usually involving lone sentries and gate guards being confronted at night by the foul beast. And while no human has ever been seriously injured or killed by Yucca Man, there have been reports of the beast bending rifles in half and destroying military property. More recently, the majority of Yucca Man sightings have occurred in Joshua Tree National Park. Tents have been ripped open at night, tourists harassed, and an occasional footprint or blurry photograph has been submitted as evidence. But the legend of Yucca Man goes back further than the 20th century encounters with Americans of European descent. The Tongva indigenous Americans have been telling stories of desert creatures they called Taquits or hairy devils. These creatures are said to originate from Bernardino Mountains. Hikers and wilderness explorers be warned, Joshua Tree National Park may contain more excitement than the curious yucca trees. And they're saying that the trees could be mistaken for it. But like I don't think so because let's see. So you see I'm gonna see those funny looking trees in the back. Like you're not mistaking that for a humanoid. You're not mistaken. Like there's nothing and then like puff balls at the top. Like you're no, sorry, that's not a misidentification. I don't know if they have bears out there. I can't imagine that they do. Maybe closer to the mountains, but
Mountainous regions possibly, but where it's a desert region,
yeah,
not many bears live in the desert.
no.
It's
There's
more
also another one. There's a guy who used to sell patches. I
big
followed him
truck
on
going by.
I followed him on Instagram, but I haven't seen activity. There's this sand something. Um, I really need Morgan here. He would know. But it's a Bigfoot thing. I can't remember what it's called. Sand something. I don't know. I don't think it's a sand. Maybe it's sandy, but I don't know. Um, yeah. Southern California is a really, really weird place, like in a loving way. I wonder where's that island? Catalina Island. Is that off the coast of Southern California? Or is it
I
northern?
think so. I think it's southern.
That's your place. Oh my god. I still see people who are like, don't know how big California is and like, oh, we want to go to this northern city on one day and then go to southern day. And I'm like, honey, it's going to take you half a day to get through Los Angeles. Like,
Well, thing is, California is a long
oh my god,
state.
LA alone, with all the traffic, it's like, it's giant. So,
Yeah, you're not getting through that in less than
ugh,
half a day.
no. So, but yeah, I love Southern California. Um, sorry. I'd love to be there for like 2 weeks and just spend like 4 days at Joshua Tree. I really want to go overnight camping at least like a couple days, but I definitely have to hire a guide if we're like overnight camping in the desert because we will die. Um, because I don't know anything about the desert.
Mm.
Um, uh, if you're I really recommend Desert Oracle. If you like Night Vale, it's got that kind of vibe, but it's totally real. Um, and it's kind of like a local radio, which makes it better because you're getting kind of the local vibe. There are moments that are absolutely unhinged, and like I have to message Morgan and be like, "Oh my god, this episode I just listened to." Like there was one day I was doing play by play about this festival that happened, and just like that place is absolutely wild. Like I love Desert Oracle. so funny, but like so great. Um, and I learned about from Desert Oracle. I learned about Cactus Mart. Please go and pet the kitties for me. It's a cactus like plant mart, but they also have kitties, and they always post their kitties on Instagram. So find them and follow them, and
Awesome.
yeah. The person who owns it sounds really lovely. Again, I'm listening. I think I'm like 2018 is when I'm on, so it's very far back, but
8 years.
yeah, that's like almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Um, yeah, if you go on our Patreon, we were actually able to wrangle Morgan online when we did our Bigfoot thing. That was so nice to talk to him. I we did the bummer, excuse me, from drinking. We did the kind of the bummer let down in Mount Shasta, which again, there's no shade to Mount Shasta. That is a very special place. The indigenous people around there have a very special connection to it. There's just a lot of bummer people that have kind of ruined it with like their love and light and pale skin aliens stuff. So what we try to do is we and our patron is help people
Navigate the crowd.
yeah, and so we said if you're going to Southern California, just skip Mount Shasta because it's kind of bummer. And so he gave a list of places to check out if you're into the paranormal. That's only on the Patreon. So you have to be a Patreon member for that. And he's the hold on, I'm gonna get his name.
14 librarian.
Or I think he's the 14 bookshelf.
Bookshelf, yes. The 14 bookshelf.
I'm gonna the 14 bookshelf, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's really good at knowing like 40 knowledge, and if you follow him on Instagram, he shows his books. He has more rare books than I do. And it's funny, we both have the problem of we live in a small place and we're running out of room, and it's like my place is going to be stacked shelf to shelf of Rubbermaid totes.
We need to be able to open a library, an archive. That's why we're doing what we're doing.
Though that's the problem. Real estate. They're good. I'm going to eat them. Well,
wait, I'll
find another one.
Yeah.
Oh, it's got international ones.
So.
Oh my god, that's terrifying.
Look like Beholder.
I do have to say, like, I love this book. It's so much fun, but really, the mermaid for Canada, of all the cryptids in Canada, you picked the mermaid to represent Canada? Come on, man.
Eddie, come on.
Yeah, like, Eddie. I don't know who did research for this book, but sorry, your Canadian one sucks. You could have picked a lot better ones. Yeah, so in Cadwallader Bay, we have a serpent. And our friend Brennan Storr on his podcast, he found a book that talks about stories, and so they've seen sightings of Caddy for a while. So. Yeah. But no, we get the mermaid. Okay, I've lived here since 2007. I've never once heard anyone talk about mermaids. I guess it's people from not here thinking it's the seals, but I've never heard anyone misinterpreting the seal.
We have all kinds
Here we go.
Seals.
This is what we get in Canada, the mermaid. Like we got the Wendigo, we got Caddy, we've got Bigfoot, we've got
we have Cabercer, the Caddy, and there's the Ogopogo.
Let me go. I have my New Brunswick folklore book. I'm gonna go grab it.
She's gonna get her folklore book. All right. So I've had experiences with Bigfoot here. Sarah, not so much, but her experiences are more animal based.
All right. This was a find. I can't believe I found this book too. The Will-O-Wisp. Folktales and Legends of New Brunswick. And in this book, when they sent it to me, I got a Joker card. Look at that card. That is crazy. Yeah, we got the Key Wiswask, the Little People, the Wizard of the Miramichi. Yeah. You can keep your freaking mermaid. Mermaid. Really?
But yeah.
Also, the Loveland Frog. If you read the original reports, it was not a frog. It was something closer to a goblin.
Think of that.
Oh, poor Switzerland. You get the gnome. Like, how cliche is that? Like, now you know they didn't do their research because they could have done the Alpine men, but they were like, oh,
Yolcat.
That artist that did all the gnomes is from somewhere in Scandinavia. Let's do the gnome. Like, I love this book, but you guys totally sucked when you did international. Like, the gnome for Switzerland, like Saudi Arabia, the jinn, and you show a genie like in Disney, and I'm like,
okay.
Whoever did the chapters on international, no, sorry, you suck.
Jinn is a blanket term.
Like Chupacabra from Mexico. Come on,
La Llorona. They could have done La Llorona.
So
or
dumb.
There's
oh, here you go. Here you go, Adam. Zion Angel.
Or Utah. Come on.
Oh God. I'll make sure we're still live. I'm not talking, just not talking to the void.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, good. It's not just us talking to the void.
We are.
I do love this book, though. This book is a lot of fun. It's just, it's also like, Sasquatch. Oh, they did Sasquatch twice. Now, come on.
Okay, Sasquatch.
Oh, here it is. I've got. Oh no, wait. So this is from Indiana, Sasquatch. Which I have to tell you, like, it's so funny. I lived in northern Indiana for since I was 5 until I was 18. I never knew there was Bigfoot in the thing, but I never knew about the Lady of the Dunes either. So I'm like, oh, I missed something so much. I don't think he looks like this though. I think that's a lot of fun though. But I'm pretty sure when I've heard him described, it's just a normal Bigfoot. The rake. Oh, look at that one. That's cool. Yeah, I love this book. I was so happy to get a copy. I don't know how much I paid for, and I don't care. Also, this is the funniest Mothman I've ever seen. Love that. Love that. That's great.
Now, let's talk about ghost stories in Canada a bit.
Oh, do I have to get
you don't have to get anything.
Okay, I don't have to get the book.
Ghost and paranormal stuff. In Prince Edward Island, there was an area they called the Fairy Moor, and people would go
Sorry, I have to. They did a brew hop for Texas, but I'm like, that should have been Mexico. There's why is it the Dogman, Texas?
Yeah.
Okay,
Or-
I'm liking this book a little bit less. Like, they did Bigfoot 3 or 4 times. Oh, wait, what's the Banshee for? South Dakota? Okay. I like that book a little less. Sorry,
It's
Dogman should have been Texas.
Yeah.
Can you hire me for these books? I can come up with hire me and Morgan. We can come up with
With some good ones.
yeah. Go ahead. You were gonna say I'll stop.
So in Prince Edward Island, there's a place called the Fairy Moors. And back in the early 1900s, a man disappeared. Of course, he got drunk and wandered into the moors and disappeared for 3 months. When he came back, he wouldn't say anything about what he experienced. But for the first few days, he couldn't speak at all. He was completely catatonic, and he had been gone for 3 months. There wasn't a lot of food in the moors to begin with, that he should not have been able to survive, and he came out alive. And they say that the fairies took him, and he would not talk about it. No matter how much people begged him to talk about it, he wouldn't. But there's other stories, like phantom dogs in
There's a
downtown.
really interesting story. I don't count the supernatural.
Mm.
And I apologize. I don't actually remember if this Newfoundland or Nova Scotian. There was a woman they washed up on the floor, and she was completely been saltified.
Okay.
I can't remember if it's Nova Scotia or Newfoundland, and I think it's more legends. Like, I don't, because I think it happened a while
There's a
ago.
lot of ghost ships too.
Oh, and there's the gray lady.
Mhm.
If you're in so okay, when you're in a new place, don't assume I have 30 years sailing experience. I know what to do. You don't. When you go to a place you're not familiar
Always
from.
consult locals.
There are parts of Nova Scotia that to this day are incredibly dangerous for sailing. And so the gray lady will appear on foggy days to warn people away. And if you see the gray lady, just head home.
Yep. Don't bother.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, there's so many legends of
There's so
ghost
many
ships.
ghosts. Yeah.
There's one I forget what the name of it is, but it was on fire.
It's the one that's
It was a Spanish galleon.
yeah, it's really
that was
famous.
attacked by
And they say
the
you can
British.
still see it sometimes.
Now, my dad saw it
Nice.
when he was a kid, and he was out in it was towards Bridgewater, and he was out on the water fishing, and he saw this boat on flames coming towards him, and then it vanished. And so he saw the burning ship. Now, there's all kinds of history of wreckage there, but my great uncle, he rescued horses from Sable Island when there was a huge storm. He got them to his place, and now there's a herd of like 1,300 of them traveling with the deer down from the mountains every year. But in that area, there's a lot of stories of sailors walking the streets around Halloween that are sailors who wrecked in the Sable Island area, which is a very dangerous part place to go because it
n-
shifts so much.
Sable Island is a shifting island, but also the tides in Nova Scotia are so fast that your shift will drift very quickly.
Hmm.
So it's very dangerous. Don't be that rich jerk who's on the news because they wrecked their $1 million yacht because they didn't want to pay someone a few, $100 to take him around.
Yeah.
Also, like, I love all of you adventurous people. I love you kayakers. I believe you when you say you're experienced and you've been on level 5 rapids kayaking. You I guarantee you still have never experienced anything like when that tide comes in.
Yes.
We kayakers used to go missing all the time, and there's a boat you can go on um when the tide comes in, and it's relatively safe, and even with all the safety features, a woman passed away even though she was wearing a life jacket. So like when that tide comes in and the river is coming in, it turns the it
There's
turns
whirlpool
yeah, it's
pools.
so
There's all
dangerous.
kinds
Just
of.
like don't go out in the Joshua Tree if you don't know what you're doing. Don't go on that river without someone unless you're a local. Like
Well, the
I
Bay of
remember we would be driving sometimes and you would just see this like angry river going by.
Fundy, the tide is 20 meters,
Yeah,
and it comes in within like an hour and a half.
New Brunswick has the highest tides. Nova Scotia has the fastest tides. But it's really gorgeous. We were like dirt poor when we were living there, so we couldn't explore too much. But I mean, there's so much fun stuff to explore. Um, I don't know if we're gonna go back. I think we're gonna go to Newfoundland before we go back there. So we might like go to Halifax just so we can drive to the ferry and take the boat because I've always wanted to take the Newfie boat. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's so hard. Newfoundland is a lot bigger than it looks. So it's so hard. I was like, oh well, maybe we can drive around the coast. And then I'm like,
No,
no,
no, you have
no,
to take your.
no.
That's at least a week,
And there's
if
this
not more.
really expensive bougie luxury hotel in St. John's, but it's like nice luxury. So I'm like, okay, well, I gotta drop like think it's like $600 a night. I'm like, well, I gotta drop it for that night because I gotta stay there. Yeah, there's lots of really fun ghost stories in Canada. There's lots of really good UFO stories. We're working our way through it. Like
We
I, it's because we actually take the time to read something, to understand it, to digest it. So we're a lot slower. And we don't always do spooky stuff because, like, if you really want to understand UFOs, you got to understand folklore. If you want to understand folklore, you got to know the history of the place and you got to study the people. And it's like, oh, well, now I studied the people. Like, now I got to learn about this and I need to learn about this. And so,
it's a never-ending process of learning. When you explore the paranormal, the surface only gives you 1% of the whole story, and in a lot of cases, the surface stuff that you think is weird isn't actually what's really weird about it. Because the deeper into the story you get, the weirder it becomes.
yeah. Um, that's why like people are like, "Oh, I'm interested in the paranormal. What should I read?" And I give them a big stack of books, and they're like, "Oh no, I don't want." And it's really funny because when you look at people who are into the paranormal, you can see people who are just like play acting. They don't actually and they'll say, "I'm a paranormal researcher," but you can tell really quickly when they're just kind of playing at it and they're not actually researching it because there's a growth that kind
Mhm.
of happens. And people who are just play acting, they never grow. Like they still say, "No, my EMF reader moves when there's a ghost." And it's like, "Well, did you count for if there's a fault line? Did you count for no, no, I could talk to it and it manipulates it." And it's like, "Well, yeah, we ourselves are EMF radiators, right? You know, like
Well,
they're
we're
studying psychic ability. Like If
We
you
give
have
off
enough strong will, you might be and they're like, "No, it's a ghost." And, like, just be clear, Michael Persinger, when he did a study, it's like EMF may trigger paranormal, but EMF is not paranormal.
in
Show
and of itself.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's a catalyst for
So, like, when you say, "Oh, well, I can ask questions and my EMF meter ticks," that's really interesting for psychokinesis. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean there's a ghost. Like, I'm sorry to be a bummer, police, but, like, I wanna be fair, like, Michael Persinger's, papers are locked behind a payroll, so, like, I never criticize anyone who's like, "Well, I haven't read it," and, like, I'm taking notes to the best of my abilities because they're actual scientific papers, and so I have a rule that if I really can't understand in a few sentences what he's saying, I don't take notes. So a lot of times my notes are really basic. Sometimes it's literally just from the intro and the conclusion. Um, but I'm going to do a big talk on what I found. So I never judge anyone who says I haven't read because it's expensive. It's locked by payroll. I can read it because of my university. I judge the people that said, "Well, Persinger said this," with full adamant, like, I know
confidence.
what I'm talking about. I'm like, "Oh, did you read his papers though? Did you like actually read what he said?" Because it's Michael Persinger's work is more about psychokinesis than it is about ghosts.
Yeah.
So if you're like reading his works and just seeing ghosts, then you're not understanding his works because him and his colleagues showed that psychokinesis and telepathy and prediction and all that is more than chance.
Yeah.
So in a lab,
Yeah. When you have scientists testing things in a scientific way. Now I know a lot of people discount Persinger because of the whole God helmet thing and how it
why?
blew up in in popular culture.
Do you mean the people with the fake god helmets?
Basically,
Yeah, they're okay. So I just want to, Greg and Dana Newkirk have said this far better. I think they might have done it on their Haunted Objects podcast.
yeah.
So like, go watch that. But like, unless you have like the chirp signals and the magnets going in some kind of pattern, you do not have a god helmet. You have a brain fryer.
Yep.
Like a lot of people who say they have a god helmet do not have a god helmet.
No.
Um, like do not put on anyone's god helmet you do not trust because we have not done studies on what happens when you just put a bunch of random magnets and electromagnetic
When
and
you put
go.
electromagnets on your head, you're literally pulling your neurons in 50 different directions.
Yeah, so
Right there.
don't put on janky god helmets.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure go watch the Haunted Object podcast. I'm pretty sure they did an episode where they
They did.
talk about
They
it.
did.
I have to go back and watch it because of my ADHD. So good. Um, Funny enough, reading his stuff, Persinger's God helmet was just a modified motorcycle helmet.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all they did. But looking into the paranormal,
I
you
can't.
don't need fancy equipment to go
Well, people
to the
are trying to
paranormal.
like use electronics to detect ghosts, and like Greg Newkirk talked about this. Unfortunately, I can't remember if it's on the podcast or if it was just on one of our live streams, but there were people that studied Uri Geller and they were skeptical. And they worked with him for years. And what they came up with, and this is not a quote because I'm trying to remember a vague memory of what he said when he was telling us this. Um, Psychic ability can never be proven in a scientific way because it will never be perfectly repeatable. So, like, the skeptic did believe that Uri Geller had some kind of weird ability, but um it would never be repeatable. And so, you know, um the fact that Persinger was able to do what he did, he tapped into something because, like, I'm reading his stuff and it's like, well, we tested uh the last one I read was about like premonition psychic things, and they found, I can't remember, I don't want to say it for sure, but when magnetic geomagnetic magnetic activity was a certain way a few days before or during, I can't remember which because I don't have my notes in front of me, they found more, it was in a positive direction. And so the fact that he was able to test this stuff and come up with some kind of scientific paper, and a lot of these papers that I'm reading are like 2 pages long, is amazing. But
Sheldrake.
Rupert Sheldrake, sorry, that's my ADHD. Rupert Sheldrake is continuing with the research.
Mhm.
And yeah.
He's continuing the research, but he's also the thing.
Callum, what's it?
Callum Cooper.
Professor Callum
Cooper.
Cooper.
Yep.
Is also doing his own work. And Phone Calls from the Dead, he republished it
with new
yeah, so do
findings.
that, and they're actively working to get the rights of other Rogo's books to republish it. So, like, he's on Instagram, so make sure to follow him on Instagram so, like, when he's and we had the opportunity to email him, and he was so lovely. Like, we love him.
Mhm.
Very lovely person.
Yeah, we interviewed him as well.
You could tell he was so busy and so tired, and he took the time to
talk to us.
yeah. I've gotten to know that tired university look, and he's
Yep.
a professor, and, like,
Yep.
I
now you recognize
yeah,
it.
like, I feel that now.
Yeah. With
Oh my god, that's what I should get my bachelor's in. I should go to school
in England
and get a parapsychology and become, like, a librarian. Harvard, I think, is it Harvard is doing a magical degree, I think?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Harvard or not, but I was like, "Oh, yeah, whatever, I ain't never getting into Harvard, you can."
Who knows? Who knows? You do have a 4.0 average. So
4.1.
4.1, there you go.
After having a 3.2 and being told I was never gonna get into university.
Well, you're there now. So when you're exploring the paranormal and you don't have equipment, there's things you can do. Like you can
make your own pendulum.
Yeah. You can make your own Ouija board.
You can go to Walmart and get a cheap compass.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can make your own Ouija board.
Yeah. But you don't really need any of that. You can just go in and sit down and have a pen and paper and draw what you see, write down what you hear. If you have a cell phone, most people have cell phones. You can download a simple recorder and record.
It's already on your phone.
It's already on your phone.
Yeah. When you get most phones
have that.
Yeah, it's become a safety thing now, unfortunately. Yeah.
So you can.
And I find when you engage with it, you have more, like, all of us who've had weird experiences, we're, like, reading stuff and visiting stuff.
Yeah.
And, like, I find people who, like, just do ghost stuff, like, I don't know, like, they're not having the weird encounters we are, they're just having the typical.
They have the typical.
And
But
it all seems mimicry.
a
Like,
lot of it
especially,
can be,
like, the 3 knots that like, that seems just like
that's
mimicry.
mimicry.
That seems more trickster, like, "Oh, you want me to put on a performance? Okay." Whereas, like, having something like, see, I can't talk about that yet.
Don't yell at ghosts, basically.
No, I'm trying to think of something. I don't know where my oh, there's my let me see, here you go. Let's see. Oh, like this. Um, when I was, uh, reading, Victorian color, I was, uh, reading about Maria Mahoy, and a song "Six" by Rose Betts came on, and the lyrics of the song, um, uh, told the story that I was reading of Maria's life, of her and her first husband. And
Wow.
I had the playlist on random, right? And I'm not reading the book out loud, right? So it's not like Google hearing my book. And so like when I'm engaging with stuff, I have these more meaningful high strangeness encounters where I find people who are like just going and looking for ghosts. They have more mimicry, trickster stuff. They're not having these like more in-depth, high strangeness encounters. Um, you have to engage with it deeper because if you're like, I just want a performance, you're just gonna get a performance.
Yeah. And if you go in with a preconceived idea of what's there,
That's why I always loved Michelle Belanger. Like she goes, or
sh-
sorry, they
they
go in blindfold and
well,
they try not to do research on a place.
yeah,
And then there was a couple times that they went to a famous place, and I think they did something kind of different to try to separate it.
yeah. No, they didn't allow them to touch anything, and they just walked in
Yeah, I can't
and
remember.
they were blindfolded
I
and
can't.
had
Unfortunately, I wanna I wanna rewatch it because I enjoy watching Michelle Belanger, enjoy listening to them talk, but I can't watch that ghost stuff anymore because I have grown and so I watch that stuff and I'm like, "Oh, this is really cringy. This is really cringy." Like,
the thing is a lot of what you see on TV that says it's paranormal is fake.
yeah.
They fake things to get ratings.
Or they go they play it up.
Yeah, and they make a simple haunting into a demon infestation.
We do like Kindred Spirits. We think if
Those
there
guys are good.
was a ghost show, that is the most respectable one.
Yeah,
And Amy and Adam are Kindred Spirits I think is done, but they're kind of doing their own thing
they're
now.
doing their tours and
Amy has a really good, successful, spooky travel company, and it's really fun. I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it. So Amy
Bruni.
Bruni, yeah, look up her travel company if you can afford it. It's really fun. Like everyone says, like she is a high class woman, and so her travel is high class travel. So she does a really good job of designing the trips. Um, and I do love Chip Coffee. He's so sweet. He's so sweet.
Sweet.
Yeah, I do. I don't see him on my social feeds as much anymore, and I do love him. He's funny, and he also it's because of him I found my favorite meme. um.
Um, don't yell at ghosts.
Oh yeah.
Don't go into a place and start screaming and hollering and hopping up and down and inviting angry things.
Also, like, would you like it if someone came into your place and was like, "Hey, you're gonna talk to me right now"? Like, you wouldn't like that.
It, you're you get what you give.
Yeah.
In the spirit world, you get what you give. If you go into a place and you're belligerent and angry or fearful and wanting to run away, you're going to get what you put out there. So if you go in without any preconceived ideas, like you can know the history and all of that, but go into the place
Well,
with the
sometimes even the
idea.
history is BS. Like the
Yeah,
history of the Winchester Mansion in wherever it is mostly made up for the tour.
yeah.
So there's one place, oh, I want to say it's Diego, but I'm not sure, but it's there, it's a historic place and they are very strict about how the story is told and what is told because they want to keep the the true story of the history of the place correct.
Hmm.
I've seen people been like the Craig Darrow Castle, the most haunted place in Victoria.
But it
I have
doesn't
bad
feel like
news.
that.
It's not actually haunted. No one's actually, so the only reports is when it was military college. Well, that was weird. Did you see that? It flashed.
Oh, okay,
That was weird. Our screen just went like white for a second.
okay.
Anyways, um when it was a military college, so I believe it was a grandson went away, I believe for war, and his ship went down at sea. And his mom always held the hope that he would return home. And his father would always listen to this record. And so I believe it was when in the military college, sometimes you would hear the song that was playing. Sometimes people hear like footsteps going up the stairs, like kids running to get to the class before they're in trouble. Sometimes the kids who were hanging out in a room where there was like an astronomy club or something, if they were screwing around, they would hear like taps and bangs, like a matronal woman being like, "Hey, what are you doing? Stop fooling around." So there's lots of residual things from, because Craig Duro Castle was a place that has experienced a lot of heartache, a lot of
Hmm.
love, a lot of activity, but no, it is not the most haunted place in Victoria.
The one
There
thing.
isn't really any ghost stories, there isn't really spookiness. Please, like, influencers, stop making stuff up about Victoria. Like, it's not cool. You're not like, no, like there is Victorian ghost tours.
Yep.
Go to those. That's where you get the actual real ghost stories. Like they're pretty good and they follow.
Now there are ghosts here. Um, I've seen some up up here. There was a girl that walked by and she was in a university sweater, jeans, and like Converse, 1980s style clothing.
Yeah.
And she disappeared. She was walking along, and I was watching her go, and then she just faded away. But there's other people who have said that they've had experiences with ghosts here.
Yeah, we definitely have spirits. It's just
But it's
I think Victoria, it's under the covers. Like it's
mm,
never, there is a book, Victoria's Most Haunted. I haven't, I have to try to read the book again. I tried to read it before, but the writing was weird, so I got to try it again. But there is this like a Bastion Square ghost book that I know from the Bastion Square uh book shop that it's very rare. So I have we have Victoria Ghosts. I have a book of Victorian ghosts. I'll have to pull that up at some point. I need to read it properly. The one story I shared with Nathan, Paul, Isaac, and the guys in Liminal Lodge was there's a historic house that's sits kind of weird on the lot, and there's this like giant double pane glass that somehow slipped out of the windowsill and didn't break or crack, and it's like heavy, so like really weird. Um some people see Emily Carr. We have some fire bug stories,
Mhm.
which that deals with colonization. We'll have to at some point we'll do.
We'll have to do a deep
I
dive on
have
specific.
so many books that like I have the Gulf Breeze 6 book that Nathan always refers to. I don't know if he has a copy. Um, I found a weird UFO cult book that was printed by where our friend Nathan, or not Nathan, Matthew used to live, and it's like in the middle of nowhere in Tennessee, and it's just really weird. I have to read that. I also, oh, I found this at the thrift store and I almost lost my mind. I found a typewritten book. This is not a mass-produced book. I found a typewritten book at the Salvation Army, and it's like spiritualism essays. And I was like,
Wow.
"Oh my god." And it was like $1.99. I was like, "Oh my god." I put that in my basket very quickly. I was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "Oh my god." Like I miss our Salvation Army. Our neighbor one had closed, and the one that we go to is just the
It's not great.
vibe is so different. I used to find the craziest stuff at this one. I found like someone is dumping grandma's stuff at our thing. I found a 1940s Purity cookbook, okay? Purity Flour used to be one of the biggest flour producers in Canada. They're still pretty big, but everything goes to the Bahamas. That is their where they ship it to. So this was printed for the war rations, specifically for war rations, and it's got grandma's notes in it.
Mhm.
I found someone had donated all of grandma's embroidery supplies and everything was lovingly labeled, and I was like, "Who just donated this?" And I find books like all the time. Like I found a book that is an illustration by this gentleman who painstakingly painted the steamboats in the southern US, and it is considered the most accurate drawing of the steamboats before photographs, and in some cases it's the only visual representation of we have not the steamboats, sorry, the paddle boats,
Paddle boats.
the river paddle boats. And I like so someone is just dumping grandma's
Mhm.
stuff at Salvation Army,
Allergies.
and I would find it, but ever since they moved we had to go to the new place, it's just the vibe totally sucks. I did I will say it, I did find a Piers Anthony role-playing guide book that was, like, someone put a sticker on it and $1.99, like, someone clearly had labeled that and didn't know what it was, and I was, "Mine, put it in my cart, that's worth far more than $1.99, thank you very much." 'Cause, like, all the thrift stores, they, like, do research, right? So you can't get good finds anymore. They'll post it on the website. So it's always funny when I find this thing and I'm like, "Clearly didn't know how much this was worth."
Mhm.
So, yeah, so I have that I need to go through. What else? I got, UFOs over To Topanega Canyon. That's really interesting that I got. I got a bunch of UFO comic books, but they're super fragile. So they're in a drawer hidden away until I can get
A digitizer too.
no, the proper fireproof UV protector stuff for them. I totally would love to go through them, but like I also have a Puritan newspaper that I already read. Yeah. That I got from Timothy Renner's antique shop. That is from Pennsylvania Dutch. Um or no, sorry, we call them German Protestant now. Sorry, I forgot. We're switching away from because people are so confused. They're like, "You mean the Dutch?" And it's like, and it has to do with the word Dutch, not the the
Mhm.
ethnicity Dutch. So now, like when I see museums and histories, they're actually just saying German Protestant now
Yep.
because it's getting confused.
Yeah.
Um, I'd love to go through that and, like, read that, but I was, like, opened it up and, like, ripped it a little bit in the middle, and I was like, "And we're gonna fold this up and put this away because I don't have space to open this properly." What else do I have that I got the New Brunswick folk tales I have to go through. Oh, I got a really good book. There's a young man who in Nova Scotia goes and photographs abandoned places in Nova Scotia. Um, I don't did we try to contact him?
We tried to contact him. He's very hard to get a
Yeah.
hold of because he doesn't have a website. He's not on social media.
Yeah, like when I
It's
saw his book listed on Amazon, like it didn't have a picture and I was like, I don't know if I'm getting scammed, but I got it. Oh, I got Ghost Islands of Nova Scotia. Oh, I was so happy about that. So I used to check that out at Halifax Library and I was like, I'm never gonna find this again. It's out of print. And someone had a copy in Amherst and put it on Thrift Books. Whoever you are, thank you. I paid like 80 or 90 bucks with shipping. I don't care. Like there's a story in there. So when I do it, I'm actually going to do a big presentation because our friend Heather, uh, Come Hither with Heather, I know she'll love like she looked sounded very excited about that book. So I'm actually gonna like do a presentation for her and show her like pictures and stuff. Um, but there's a story in there. So you know how it was a German spy
mhm,
who attacked uh the island near the Liberty Statue of Liberty.
mhm,
In that book, there is an island that the author interviewed a local that said his father or grandfather, can't remember which, was contracted to build a basement for this guy who had an accent. I'm pretty sure it said I think he had an accent. I don't think the that he said specifically German. And he said was talking about there was maps on the walls, but there was something in it that led me to think, I wonder if they were German spies.
possible.
And if you think of like Nova Scotia is not that far from Manhattan, so you're like, that's really interesting. What
It's
if it was a German spy? Like, so
yeah.
there are a lot of fun things that we're looking to do. Oh, I got the locals Sasquatch book. I got a book that's just I think it's a biography about the doctor who's the Bigfoot researcher here. Yeah. It's just I'm slow because I'm reading stuff for university and whatnot.
And I've been busy with trying to get videos up and that. We do a lot of nature-based ones where we're walking in parks and that. I post those.
Next month is all gonna be adventures
Yep,
because, it's so incredibly busy. I just
this month
well,
coming. It's
in like
next month.
2 days,
Two
yeah.
days.
I physically just cannot put in extra research into anything this month. I'm gonna try to keep reading the book club book. Um, I was gonna try to do book club Zoom on June, but that's not happening at all. That is not happening. So I'm just gonna try to keep reading that, but I can't do a research Q&A. I can't do anything. So we're just gonna post a lot of stuff to the Patreon. So
Yep.
unfortunately, if you're not a Patreon, you're gonna miss out. So join the Patreon.
Yeah.
Come hang with us.
We are going to do the Bigfoot summoning.
Yeah, that's gonna
Ritual.
be a very short video.
Yep.
It's just gonna be we're gonna do it together. We'll post we'll do it on Zoom just because it's easier for us to deal with stuff, but then we'll post it on YouTube and
Yep.
Patreon. And like we would like to see something weird or interesting when we go up islands. We want everyone to put their energy into it.
Into it.
We're going up Father's Day weekend though, and where we're going is so we try to do something new every time. And sometimes we go to quieter places, but sometimes we go to touristy places because it's like we knocked it off. So we're going to Englishman River Falls in the morning, and then we're gonna go get some lunch and crash on the beach rest.
Yeah.
But there's a Sasquatch. So someone made a Sasquatch map so they've seen Sasquatch twice near West Trevor Beach. So or Bigfoot, sorry.
Yep.
Maybe.
Sasquatch. You can say Sasquatch because it's in that area.
Is it? I
Yeah,
thought
it's
that was
all-
only Sasquatch is for the Stalo people.
Yeah, but they're the Cowichan Valley to Nanaimo is the range.
Also for Stalo people?
Yeah.
Or okay.
Yeah, they're all over BC. Basically.
Oh, okay.
So,
I'm probably because UFE just focuses on the
Fraser Valley.
upper river because that's where their traditional territory is.
But the thing is the Stalo people there's little communities all over the
Look,
place.
see, it just flashed
just
again.
flashed again.
That must be some weird setting or something.
Some
Or camera freaking out.
Yeah, because we're moving.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, a lot of the indigenous traditional and ancestral territories lap, and so like there's a challenge now fighting over parts of Hatley Park. There's a challenge for another part because it's like when you make a treaty, it's really hard because that land may have been used by 3, 4, 5, 6 different nations.
Mhm.
So it's really hard.
When you have a people that live seasonally.
Well, yeah, there's
They don't-
people. I don't know where their home base is, and saying that they have a home base is probably culturally incorrect. But they used to follow the salmon, so they'd be on the island, they'd be in the Fraser Valley. They used,
Yeah.
Then you have the Ojibwe, which we could be from Vancouver to Michigan and down to Mississippi to the ocean.
Yeah. It's explore everything. That's the best advice.
Well, the thing is if you don't study the culture, you'll never know about the animal people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you're
The
missing
animal
a whole
people.
thing, like
Coyote.
water panthers. You're missing a whole thing with water panthers. You want to know what water panthers are? Well, I'm sorry, you need to go start learning about Ojibwe people. And they have books that they've published for other people to enjoy outside their culture. Like, again, we're coming back to the like, if you actually are into this, you actually have to study. And like, the thing that you're missing is like fungi. Oh my god, it's fascinating. Like it operates like a brain, and it could save the Everglades because this massive brain is like, oh, this part of the forest over here needs nutrients, so it'll like tell other parts of the mycelium network to go feed nutrients to that, and it's like all interconnected and weird. Like you're totally missing out.
And it mimics a brain.
Yeah.
The structure of the brain. It's a situation where
That's why I always laugh.
so
because
above, so below.
I hate, to be clear, I hate AI, but people are always talking about like it's going to take over, like it's intelligent. AI is not intelligent. It's just a very complex algorithm. And the thing is, we don't even know what intelligence is yet because like I think is that the jellyfish doesn't have a brain, but it responds like it would have a brain.
Yeah.
And like you look at the mycelium networks and they operate like a brain. Like they found other people with different problems with their brain, but
There's a guy who actually didn't have a brain, lived for
yes,
30
he had
years.
a brain. It's not that he didn't have a brain.
Well, he had all the neurons, but none of the matter.
No, he had fluid in his brain and it got heavily compressed, but he still did have a brain. But anyways, there's different variances of the brain and people live normal lives. And it's like, if we don't understand what intelligence is, do you think we have the capability of programming something to be intelligent? I think it's literally going to be like all the sci-fi movies. It's going to happen on its own and it's going to be spontaneous and a miracle. It's like Blade Runner. Well, she had a baby. She's an android. How did that happen? Like, and that's the whole thing about the second movie. It's like, wait, an android had a baby? Like, I think that's what's gonna happen. But like,
Well, look at Tron.
I love Tron. Yeah,
The
spontaneous again.
ISOs, spontaneous beings that
Yeah.
sprung up, and there's instances where the internet works like an entity. So all of this is weird and wonderful, and we've kept you on here
Yeah,
for an
I'm
hour and 40
tired.
minutes. We
We're
need to
going to the strawberry market tomorrow, though. I'm
yes.
so excited. I don't have any money and I don't give a shit. I'm pulling money from savings to go and have fun. And it sucks because, like, every vendor I love is going to be there. And I'm like, I love you all. I can't afford to support you all. So I got to be
Pick
very
and
picky.
choose.
But
Yep.
we're going to, there's a Y2K booth. And so, like, for every millennial, like, we're all traumatized from our, like, childhood. Like, being able to relive like the cooler parts of childhood as a healed millennial with the people we love. I'm like, yes, Y2K booth. Yes. Yes, we need to do that. Absolutely. Um yeah, so we won't have a live stream for 2 months.
For 2 months. 1 month.
Well, it's
July will be the next one.
yeah. So a month and a bit.
Month and a bit.
So join the Patreon if you want information about what's going on.
Yep.
You also get to pick out books for book club. Like, nobody picks out books for book club. So like, if you participate, you could be like the book club decider. Because the next few books I have are pretty intense, so buckle up. So
Yeah.
Toddler next door.
Toddler next door flinging stuff
Um,
around.
And we do watch parties where we literally just hang out with each other and watch something, and it just depends on who shows up. Like, y'all missed, like, no one showed up for Christmas and y'all missed Santa Claus and versus the Martians. Like, you missed it. Or no, Santa Claus versus the Devil.
Yeah.
You missed that. Sucks to be you. We did post a link to it for our Patreon members because it's on open access. So, and our research Q&As are fun. We did one. We suggested authors for Bigfoot and aliens. For that are like quote unquote safe. We went through. We got rid of all the right wing people and all the people who are putting out hoaxes and said just start with this. I was going to do one with ghosts, but that one comes with a lot of emotional baggage. And it's like, Hans Holzer wouldn't be on that list because he's controversial, but at the same time, he's was a big foundation builder for paranormal investigations, but he had some kind of icky ideas. And it's like, well, do you celebrate the fact that he really put the investigation in the forefront, or do you don't because he put in icky ideas about like indigenous burial grounds, excuse me, that you can tell that's what he called it because like it's in my head because that is the cultural thing. Like, please, for the love of God, stop saying it's on an indigenous burial ground. No, stop saying that stuff. Like, that's, or saying our place is haunted because an indigenous spirit is angry. Like, stop that nonsense. Stop it. Stop. No, that your place is not haunted because of indigenous spirits. Like, do you think an indigenous spirit wants anything to do with you? Um, stop saying the land is cursed too. That's another shady one. Don't say those things. The land is. I believe the land um
land
will
has spirit.
the land can hold, like, the land has memory, to put it
Mhm.
simply. But I don't like saying the land is cursed. I think you can change
How
the
a land,
vibe.
the vibe of a land,
Yeah.
by putting your good intentions into it. And it's not like Whitewater,
Stop
that
making
sort of
poor
stuff.
women, random women in graveyards as witches.
Mm.
Like, leave that woman from the what's the Conjuring house, I think
Yeah,
it's called.
leave
Leave
her,
that poor
leave her
woman
alone.
alone. That woman has the what are those people called? The Warrens made up some BS crap about her putting nails and innocent little babies, and, like, no, leave that woman alone. Like, she had nothing to do with it. Like, stop it. Like, if you're into the
It turns out that she was just a good person.
yeah,
She
I don't
wasn't.
even yeah, I don't even
She was a little bit of an outsider, and that's why they used her to further
no,
the
they literally
story.
just went to the graveyard and was like that. So stop it. Study things, learn things. Um,
Shows.
oh, the Burrows is really
Burroughs is
good.
really good.
Wonderfools is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Wonderful. Yeah.
Wonderfoo, is that what
One.
it's?
Well, yeah, it's wonderful.
Wayward is really good.
Fools. Yeah. Wayward is really good. We're watching one now called Surreal Estate, which is
Really good.
which is really good.
On Tubi.
And it's on Tubi, so you can get it for free.
And the weird thing I like about it is it's like
It's like not so serious,
no, it is serious.
but
Like
it
it is
is serious.
it's a serious drama, but it's like not subtle humor.
Yes.
Like subtle humor at the right time.
Yeah.
Um
The What movies have we seen?
I
Not
don't know. I don't want to
movies
copy
lately.
Greg and, Newkirk and be like, what do we watch? And we have to do our own thing. Like,
Mm.
um,
But we had to shout out those guys because they're really good.
yeah, those shows. Yeah, so next month is just gonna be chaos.
Mm.
So we're just gonna be posting like what we're doing around on Patreon, so there won't be much of us here. Um yeah. Um Still working on stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm working on 2 TV shows. Um,
Oh, I'm
we're
working on a big project about returning Bigfoot to the wild man.
yes.
So on our Patreon, we talked about Sasquatch, Bigfoot, what is it? And so Sasquatch is a anglicized word of the word Saskets. And when you look at the origin of Saskets, they were people of the Stalo tribe who went to the forest to practice the tradition that was required for them to get what they needed to come back to their people to become holy men. Well, the people who didn't return, or sorry, holy people,
Medicine people.
medicine people, um, when the people who did not return became the Saskets, and they're kind of these
Wildmen.
wild men that protect the forest who can guide you or trick you. And we talked about other wild men, and so we're gonna what we think of as Bigfoot, the creature we love, is based off of like hoaxes and misinformation. Um, so we're working on uh bringing it back to the wild men. And so I did some research and we talked about that. And it's really interesting to see how, as Christianity began to take hold, the wild men became this like Pan, this untamed creature too that was chaos and dangerous and whatnot. So that's a long-term project because through the Patreon, we're gonna read about Indigenous people. We're gonna read about traditional stories. It's all gonna be from either the Indigenous websites or books by Indigenous people or by people that are accepted as authorities on the topic to make sure that the stories are coming from the Indigenous in the way that they want it represented. So we can go back to wild men, but I'm also going to talk about Europe and their wild men and alpine men, and we're going to kind of peel back the Bigfoot to return to the wild man story because we always talk about how flesh and blooders will ignore like skies and weird lights in the sky when there's Bigfoot, or the person who sees Bigfoot also has been experiencing poltergeist activity in their home. And I think when you peel it back and return it to the original wild man stories, it makes far much more sense
Hmm.
than it does. Well, I saw this ape, but I also has experienced UFOs and have a haunted house. Like, flesh and blood say that that's not connected. But when you return to the wild man, where it's become this kind of like spirit that's part man, part other, like it makes more sense. Especially when you're going into like Europe where there's also the fairies and it's like, well, maybe it's part of this nature spirit and so it's part of the fairies. So that's a long-term project that we're going to do together.
Um, the river is alive. We're gonna do
Oh,
the
so we're gonna do a book talk. Book talk is just a way for me to talk about books that most of it's gonna be books that are out of print and hard to get or they're too expensive. But I did A River is Alive. It's also gonna be like if I read a book and I can't get the author or whatnot, and we'll just talk about it. And to be fair, Robert McFarland is a best-selling author and activist and a professor at a university, so he doesn't have time for us. So, we're gonna talk
you
about
never
it.
know.
We're gonna talk about his book, but we're gonna make it a really lovely visual thing. So we're gonna kind of find royalty-free videos and kind of like so I can talk about it. Um, it's really about we one quote that I remember from the book, the rough book talk is we look at a river about what it can provide, not what it is, or who it is. And in traditional cultures, rivers are like sorry, traditional cultures. In indigenous cultures, a river is like uh a living
It's a
thing.
living being. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, and like there's one thing he talks about where river the wetlands are the kidneys. That's one thing he says. And so um I think it's necessary reading for all of us. Every single person needs to read this book. Like you absolutely need to read this book because it talk like I did a project about uh uh, environmental degradation and public health. God love my teacher. I realize now I did not narrow that down enough. That was not narrow enough a topic, but she gave me a good grade. So love her because I narrowed it down to 3, but I was like, those 3 are a huge topic in itself. And like when you destroy so we don't say deforestation anymore because it doesn't properly represent somewhere like a desert or swamp or somewhere where there isn't a lot of trees. But like a degradation of a wetland or a desert does affect other people. And
Mm.
anytime you degrade the environment, public health is immediately
Affected.
affected. And so A River Alive shows this breakdown and it or sorry, it's the opposite. It shows the importance of the interconnectivity of everything. And he also gives you like the history of like he names a few ecologists and activists who started it. So it's really good intro into the interconnectivity of life. And then, like, you can also find Moth, which I can't, sorry, Moth, I can't remember what the name stands for, but they're an activist group about protecting the rights to nature. And so it's a really good book. But it's 9 o'clock, so we need to stop rambling and go to bed.
Yes. All right, guys. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Take care.